Dear listeners, today we bring you a story that will truly touch your heart. A story of patience, gratitude, and unshakable faith in Allah. This is not just a tale, but a lesson for every married woman and every hardworking man who struggles in life with hope and dignity. This is the story of a simple yet extraordinary woman named Hajra who was married to a poor but hardworking plumber and electrician named Zubair. After listening to this story, you will surely realize that true happiness does not lie in worldly luxuries, but in patience, gratitude, and trust in Allah. So stay with us till the end because this story might change the way you see your own life. Let's begin. Hajra was a girl from a poor but deeply religious family. Her parents always taught her the values of patience, gratitude, and earning only halal livelihood. When her marriage was arranged, Hajra only wished for one thing, that her husband should be pious even if he was poor. And indeed, Allah blessed her with Zubair, a man who was not a businessman or a government officer, but a hard-working mechanic. Zubair spent his days fixing pipelines, repairing ceiling fans, and handling electrical wiring, drenched in sweat from the day's labor, and every evening he returned home exhausted. In the early days of their marriage, relatives often taunted Hajra saying, "Your husband doesn't earn much. How will you live a comfortable life?" But Hajra always smiled and replied, "My husband is my destiny, and Allah Himself has written my destiny. I put my trust in Him, for He is the provider and sustainer of all." Time passed. Hajra and Zubair lived in a small home. Some days the stove burnt, some days it remained cold. But no words of complaint ever escaped their lips. Zubair often felt ashamed in his heart that he could not buy his wife fine clothes or jewelry. But Hajra would always comfort him by saying, "My greatest ornament is your patience and your hard work. Why should we grieve over worldly things when we have the treasure of faith?" Years passed, and Allah blessed them with a daughter. The little girl's smile brought joy into their home, but at the same time, expenses grew heavier. Zubair worked even harder, sometimes repairing water pumps all day, sometimes suffering shocks while fixing electrical faults. Yet his earnings remained meager. Many nights they had to put their daughter to sleep on an empty stomach, but still Hajra's lips carried nothing but gratitude. Her relatives kept pressurizing her, saying, "You are still young, leave this life of misery." But Hajra would answer with firm faith, "I am married in the name of Allah, and this is my home. I will remain patient and put my trust in my Lord." Trials grew harder. One day, Zubair fell seriously ill. Years of hard labor and harsh weather had broken his body, leaving him unable to work. This was the true test of Hajra's patience. She cried in her prayers, "Ya Allah, grant me strength, grant me patience, keep me steadfast." She started stitching clothes for neighbors, cutting and sewing fabric to earn a little money, just enough to run the household. Sometimes she had to put her baby to sleep hungry in her arms, but she never complained. People looked at her and said, "This woman must be mad. She never complains despite such hardship." But in her heart, Hajra had unshakable faith. "My Lord will never abandon me." Days turned into months, months into years, and at last Allah began to show the fruits of patience. One day, a wealthy contractor in the city had his ceiling fan break down. He called Zubair for repairs. Zubair, though weak, worked with skill and dedication, fixing the fan perfectly. The contractor was impressed and offered Zubair a permanent job. From then on, Zubair never ran short of work. Slowly, their financial condition improved. Their home began to fill with barakah, blessings brought by Hajra's patience and gratitude. The same relatives who once mocked her now admitted, "Truly, patience bears sweet fruit." Hajra smiled and said, "When a woman wears patience as her jewel, poverty itself becomes peace. But if she chooses ingratitude, then even piles of wealth will turn into misery." Friends, this story teaches us a powerful lesson. The real test of marriage is not wealth or comfort, but patience and trust in Allah. A woman's patience can either destroy a home or turn it into paradise. And a man's hard work, whether he is the plumber, mechanic or laborer, when it is for halal livelihood, is the greatest honor. Allah is with the patient ones, and He never disappoints those who put their trust in Him. If this story touched your heart, then make a prayer that Allah makes us among the patient and the grateful. And yes, don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more such faith-inspiring and life-changing stories that strengthen the heart and soul.